Imagine a quiet morning in 1908, deep in the Siberian wilderness. The sun rises over a remote forest, reindeer graze, and the Evenki people begin their day. Suddenly, the sky splits open. A blinding blue light streaks across the heavens, brighter than the sun. It moves with impossible speed, not a sunrise but a cosmic visitor. In seconds, the world witnesses a spectacle of raw, untamed power. Then a deafening roar. Thunderous claps echo for hundreds of miles. But before the sound, a wave of searing heat sweeps the land, knocking people off their feet 40 miles away. Windows shatter in towns over 300 miles from the blast. The ground shakes as if gripped by a massive earthquake. This is no local event, it's a planetary-scale incident, a cosmic punch that ripples across the globe. The explosion occurs 5 to 6 miles above the ground, releasing energy 1,000 times greater than the Hiroshima bomb. 1,000 Hiroshimas detonated in an instant over empty wilderness. The shockwave flattens everything in its path, a violent ripple of destruction. It's a raw display of physics, kinetic energy unleashed in a cataclysmic blast. This event, now called the Tunguska event, was a cosmic near-miss. Had it arrived hours later, it could have obliterated a major city like St. Petersburg. Instead, it struck one of the most remote places on Earth. A stroke of luck for humanity. The universe, it seems, is not always peaceful. It's filled with wandering rocks and ice, remnants from the solar system's birth. Sometimes their journeys intersect with ours, with spectacular, devastating consequences. The Tunguska event left a permanent mark on the landscape and on human curiosity. It was a stark reminder. Our planet is just a small target in a vast cosmic shooting gallery. The world was lucky that day, but the lesson was clear. The cosmos can deliver unimaginable power without warning, and sometimes, we're just in the way. For the people of Siberia, the Tunguska event was not a scientific curiosity, it was the apocalypse. Evenki hunters saw a second sun streak across the sky, erupting into a pillar of fire. The air became so hot it was hard to breathe. The noise, deafening. The shockwave swept people and animals off their feet, flattening tents and huts as if they were paper. S.B. Semenov, 40 miles away, was thrown from his chair by the blast. When he awoke, chaos reigned. Destruction echoed from the forest and a dark cloud rose in the north. For nights after, skies over Europe and Asia glowed eerily. So bright in London, people read newspapers at midnight. This strange light was caused by dust and ice hurled into the upper atmosphere, scattering sunlight and creating night-shining clouds. Observatories worldwide recorded pressure waves and seismic tremors. The planet itself registered the impact, a signal that something extraordinary had happened in Siberia. For the Evenki, the forest was now a place of devastation, their world upended in minutes. Their stories, passed down for generations, became the first human record of this cosmic collision. These eyewitness accounts would become the crucial first clues for the scientific detectives who followed. The world remained mostly unaware of Tunguska's true scale for years. Early reports were dismissed as folklore stories of pillars of fire and endless thunder seemed too wild to believe. Yet, the Evenki and Russian settlers described the same sequence, a blinding flash, unbearable heat, then a cataclysmic sound. One called it an artillery barrage, another saw the sky covered in fire. The forest burned for days, a thick black cloud hanging overhead. Reindeer herds were decimated, trees scorched and knocked over, all pointing away from a central point. The Evenki declared the area cursed, avoiding it for decades, preserving the site for future investigators. These were not scientific reports but human stories filtered through trauma and belief. Yet the core facts, direction, explosion, heat, shockwave, remained consistent. These accounts formed the foundation for the scientific investigation of the Tunguska mystery. Nearly 2 decades passed before scientists reached the blast site. In 1927, Leonid Kulik led the first expedition, expecting to find a massive crater and meteorite fragments. Instead, he found utter devastation. Over 800 square miles of forest flattened, trees pointing outward from a central point. At ground zero, no crater, just a patch of standing, branchless trees scorched by heat from above. This telegraph pole forest was a critical clue. The explosion happened high in the air. Kulik mapped the destruction, collected samples, and interviewed witnesses. He never found meteorite fragments but proved the explosion was real and immense. His work transformed Tunguska from myth to global scientific enigma. The missing crater deepened the mystery. What kind of cosmic object could devastate so much without touching the ground? Kulik's efforts laid the groundwork for all future research. With Kulik's evidence, scientists debated the culprit asteroid or comet. An asteroid is a rocky, metallic object. A comet, a fragile, dirty snowball of ice and dust. The asteroid theory, a stony asteroid 100-200 feet wide, entered the atmosphere at incredible speed, superheated, and exploded miles above ground. The comet theory, a small, icy body vaporized explosively, leaving no fragments or crater. The lack of meteorite debris favored the comet idea, but microscopic particles in tree resin showed high nickel, common in asteroids. The leading theory, a weak stony asteroid obliterated itself in the atmosphere, leaving only dust and microscopic spherules. The Tunguska object was likely a hybrid, rocky, but fragile enough to vanish in a fiery airburst. This explains the devastation, the lack of a crater, and the mysterious debris. The debate continues, but the evidence points to a cosmic visitor destroyed before it ever touched the ground. The Tunguska event remains the largest impact event in recorded history. It's a reminder, the universe is full of surprises, and sometimes, they arrive unannounced. Where science leaves gaps, imagination rushes in. The Tunguska event's mysteries have inspired wild theories. Exploding alien spaceships, black holes, antimatter, even Nikola Tesla's death ray. Soviet writer Alexander Kazantsev popularized the alien ship idea, imagining a Martian vessel exploding over Siberia. Others suggested a tiny black hole passed through Earth, or antimatter annihilated in the atmosphere. Some claim Tesla accidentally unleashed a weapon from afar, but there's no evidence for any of these. No spaceship debris, no unusual radiation, no secret experiments. These stories are captivating but belong to science fiction, not science. The real explanation is far more extraordinary and real. The absence of a crater baffled early investigators. How could such a powerful blast leave no mark on the ground? The answer, the explosion happened 5 to 6 miles up, an airburst. The object's kinetic energy became a blinding flash, intense heat, and a shockwave. The shockwave flattened trees, but the ground remained untouched. At ground zero, trees were stripped but not toppled. Evidence of a blast from above. Like a firecracker above water, the explosion rippled outward without leaving a hole. This airburst phenomenon has huge implications. An object doesn't need to hit the ground to cause devastation. Tunguska was our first lesson in the terrifying power of atmospheric explosions. The missing crater is not a mystery, it's the key to understanding what happened. Science and myth offer different ways to explain Tunguska. The evidence for a cosmic airburst is overwhelming. The pattern of destruction, eyewitness accounts, and microscopic debris all point to an extraterrestrial origin. Alternative theories, aliens, black holes, secret weapons, have no supporting evidence. Occam's razor applies. The simplest explanation fits all the facts. An asteroid or comet exploding in the atmosphere explains the light, heat, shockwave, flattened forest, and lack of a crater. The myths are exciting, but science gives us the awe-inspiring truth. Our solar system is dynamic, and the universe can deliver incredible power, no aliens required. The natural explanation is the most spectacular of all. More than a century later, Tunguska still captivates us. Its mystery endures. Remote location, late investigation, and no smoking gun fragment. This uncertainty fuels debate and imagination. Tunguska is a humbling reminder of our vulnerability. We live with a sense of security, but the cosmos can shatter that in an instant. The 2013 Chelyabinsk meteor was a modern echo. Proof these events are not ancient history. Tunguska was the first airburst studied with modern science, shaping our understanding of planetary defense. Today, scientists track asteroids and comets, developing ways to protect Earth. The flattened forest of Tunguska is the birthplace of our planetary immune system. In the end, Tunguska is a cosmic campfire tale, chilling because it's true. It's a story of power, chance, and mystery, a scar on Siberia and on our sense of safety. The silent forests stand as a monument to the day the cosmos reminded us of our place in the universe.